Dr. Bhavani Thuraisingham. She is a Louis Beecherl Jr. Distinguished Professor of Computer Science at UT Dallas. She's also the Executive Director of the Cybersecurity Research and Education Institute. And she's a ACM Fellow, IEEE Fellow, and AAAS Fellow, and also a visiting Senior Research Fellow at King's College, University of London. And Bhavani over the years is my great mentor and just gave me tremendous amount of support. And I want you to all find your own Bhavani, and so we are just very grateful for her to participate in giving the inspirational address and also participate in the panel. So let's welcome Bhavani.
Thank you very much, Daphne, for that wonderful introduction. And thanks so much to you and to Elisa for organizing this iMentor workshop this year as well as last year. This has been sort of a tremendous experience for so many women and minority researchers and students, including myself. So I'm going to give a 10-minute inspirational sort of address based on my experiences. And the main focus is going to be how important it is for one's career to have a mentor. So a little bit about myself. Again, Bhavani Thuraisingham from UT Dallas. I've had sort of a 40-year career. So I'm originally a Tamil from Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka is a third world poor country. And I'm a Tamil, it's a minority community in a third world country. And so it was not really easy for us at that time, but my mother was my inspiration. And so she motivated me to get into mathematics. And so I studied at the University of Ceylon, that is before Sri Lanka, it used to be called Ceylon. I did my undergraduate degree in mathematics and physics. I finished in 1975 when I was barely just turned 20 years old. And at that time, there was pressure. My father had passed away 4 years prior, so there was some pressure for me to get married. And so my mother's brother arranged a marriage for me to my husband, who was finishing his PhD at the University of Cambridge in England. And so my husband was very supportive of my career. So soon after, I moved to the UK and started my master's in mathematical logic at the University of Bristol. And then I went on to do my PhD in computability theory and theory of computation. So we moved to the US in 1980, and I was offered, my husband got a position at Petroleum Research Center in Socorro, New Mexico. And I was offered a tenure track position in computer science at New Mexico Tech. But my son was a baby, so I turned down the position, took a visiting faculty position instead. And so I was a visiting faculty for 3 years in New Mexico and then in Minnesota, then joined the commercial industry, Honeywell, and then MITRE Corporation in Massachusetts, and then National Science Foundation. So I was 24 years outside of academia, and then I joined UT Dallas as a tenured full professor. And so I've had really a great career the last several years, but it was not always great. So the early part of my career until around the mid-1990s, so for the first 15 years or so, I was focusing on technical work, writing proposals, getting projects funded, doing research and publishing papers and getting patents. So it was really going very well and forming, leading teams. And then there was a position in the mid-1990s. I was about 38 years, in the early to mid-1990s, I was about 38 years old. And then there was this position to head the data management. Today it would be data science research. And so I really wanted that position because I was 50% of my time is in cybersecurity, 50% in data science. So I really wanted that position. So there was someone else also who wanted the position. And that person's colleagues started saying bad things about me, like Bhavani is not good technically, although my publications were much better than anyone else in that company at the time. Bhavani is not that great. She's a loner. She's not a team player. All sorts of negative things were being said. And at that time, I did not have a mentor. I was very fortunate. There was a lady who was a senior researcher who was a few years senior to me. She had joined the company and she was there for 1 year. So I worked very closely with her. And she was extreme. She had heard about these comments because she was mixing with the senior administration. And so she was really supportive. She said this shouldn't go on. And then she talked to my boss, who was very supportive of me too. Because, but he was
5 minutes mini break, and then the last session on delegation personalization. As you know, papers should be
someone is, yeah. So can you hear me? Yeah. So she was very supportive, but my boss was very supportive, but he was kind of puzzled when he heard all these comments about me and that had gone to the senior administration. So she talked to my boss and said, you've got to mentor Bhavani. And so from that point onwards, my career was really, took off. And so not only, so another thing I did was talking to this lady, I talked to my other mentor, the late Professor C.V. Ramamurthy at UC Berkeley, and he was extremely supportive. We strategized. And so I got all my sponsors, some top researchers to write letters for me. Of course, they were very surprised, my boss, wow, why are all these great letters coming out of the blue for Bhavani? And so then I did get that position. And so there might have been, I would say, unconscious bias. I don't think they really wanted not to give me the position, but there is this unconscious bias. I'm a woman and I'm a woman of color. But after I got the position, my career really soared. I got a lot of awards and I formed a support group mainly of women. And so that really helped me a lot. So what's the lesson? The lesson is you must have a mentor who is going to look out for you, right? Because I did not have a mentor. I was very lucky. There was this lady who was really supportive of me. So you must have a mentor. And how do you find a mentor? So you need to talk to a few people and don't get discouraged when your first mentor does not work out. I was very fortunate that this person who was my boss was my mentor and he's still my mentor. But what I'm saying is, if it doesn't work out, try some other people, but don't give up, right? You need mentoring at all ages. Even now, myself, with a 40-year career, I still talk to people. I have a mentor who's about 15 years younger to me. So that's what I'm saying. Every stage of your career, you will need a mentor. So don't get discouraged. Find a mentor and try to develop a good rapport with him or her. That doesn't mean you go and talk about all your personal stuff. And, mentor is not your psychologist, but your mentor is there for you to help you. And also when other people say negative things, the mentor will be there for you to support you. So that is very, very important. And another thing is we are all working in cybersecurity, data science. So we love our area, cybersecurity. We are very fortunate because cybersecurity, data science, it's a very high paying field. And I always say a high paying job is a must for every woman. And I also believe for everyone in general, not just women, but women especially, because, if you are having some problems at home, or for everyone, if you're having some problems at work, if you're in a high paying, high demand career, you can always find some other situation, right? Another job. And the third thing I wanted to leave you with is that never, ever give up. And I see some of the mentors last year had said, never give up, because life has so many challenges, right? It's not sort of easy. And some people will put you down. They might say things like you are no good, or why do you want to do cybersecurity, or why do you want to have this career? So there are people who are going to put you down. What do I do when people put me down? I get twice as much motivated, right? Because my husband told me earlier on, right? Never give up, because only your enemies will benefit from your downfall. And when you make mistakes, the successful people learn from them, and the failures will dwell on them. So again, never ever give up. When someone puts you down, you have to get yourself motivated, talk to your mentor. So those are the key points. And remember, this iMentor workshop, we had be very grateful to Daphne and Elisa and others to have organized this workshop, and also the sponsors who started, Dr. Indrajit Ray from National Science Foundation. So I hope this can continue and we can all get together and meet at once a year. But even otherwise, I think we need to have some discussions, and it'll be really good if we can continue with these discussions. And again, thank you very much, Daphne, for inviting me to give this sort of inspiration. I hope it was an inspirational address. Again, thank you.
Thank you so much, Bhavani. Well, so many great advice packed in a short amount of time. And Bhavani will join the panel, and so yeah, we'll have plenty of time to reach out to her, ask questions.